Good morning, kiddos. Hi, how are you? I know it's been so many days since I uploaded a video. Okay, so for our today's session, we are going to study laws of arithmetic and inverse operations. Okay, so what are laws of arithmetic? You might have heard about commutative, associative, distributive, right? So basically, let me just show you that. We use laws of arithmetics in almost all the problems. Okay, you might not know their names, you might not know the laws, but we usually use these laws in most of our problems. Okay, so what are laws of arithmetic? What are those three laws we see here? It is commutative law, then associative law, and the last one is distributive law. Okay, so how many laws we have here? We have three laws. If you can understand my thumbnail, you will understand these three different types of laws. Okay, so basically commutative is nothing but your addition. Okay, let's say you have an addition of two numbers which are 4 plus 3. Can you write 4 plus 3 as 3 plus 4? Right, you can, right? So this is nothing but commutative law, that's it. And let's do multiplication of the same numbers here. 4 times 3 can be written as 3 times 4. It still gives you the same answer, right? Do you see any change in the answer? 4 times 3 gives you 12. 3 times 4 is also 12. Yeah, so in commutative, addition and multiplication does not change even if you switch their places. Got it? Now let's go to associative. One thing you need to understand is that every law is worked out on these four categories, which is multiplication, addition, subtraction, and division. Okay, so for commutative, okay, let me explain you that in detail. Let's do commutative. Okay, the same way how we did for addition, 4 plus 3 can be written as 3 plus 4, right? So this is addition. Yeah, there is no change in addition in commutative law, right? And now let's do subtraction of the same numbers. 4 minus 3 equals 3 minus 4. Do you get the same answer for this? No, right? 4 minus 3 is 1. 3 minus 4 is minus 1. So subtraction doesn't work in commutative law. Now let's do division. 4 divided by 3 equals 3 divided by 4. Do you get the same answer for this? 4 divided by 3 answer is equal to 3 divided by 4? No, this is not equal. So division also doesn't work in commutative law. And then comes multiplication. Let's take 4 times 3 equals 3 times 4. 4 3s are 12, 3 4s is also 12. So multiplication and addition works with commutative law. These are the four factors you should be aware of when you are solving these kind of laws. Okay, so yeah, what is the next law we have here? Associative. Okay, so the same thing, you need to work with all these four factors, which is addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication, and see which works with associatives. Okay, so how do you do the associatives? Associatives can be more than 3 numbers. Okay, let's start with addition again. Let's take 2 plus 3 plus 4. So to solve 2 plus 3 plus 4, can you solve it this way? First add 2 plus 3 and then add 4. And it can also be written as 2 plus 3 plus 4. So here in associative law, what you can do when you have 3 numbers or more numbers in addition, either you can add the first 2 numbers and then add the third number to it, or you can add the next two numbers and then add the first number to it. Like 2 plus 3 gives you what? 5 plus 4, that is 9. 2 plus 3 plus 4 is 7, and 2 plus 7 is 9. Okay, so you can do anyway in associative law. For addition, okay, this is addition now. This is addition. So what factors goes in associative law? Addition and multiplication again. Okay, so we do not have any other way of doing this. So there is no subtraction and division in associative again. Okay, there is only addition and multiplication. Let's take the same numbers for multiplication. 2 times 3 times 4. That gives you can solve this as 2 times 3 plus, times 4, or 2 times 3 times 4. So always remember that you solve the bracket first. Bracket indicates that this is one set. Okay, so 2 times 3 is 6 times 4, or 2 times 3 fours are 12. Good. So 6 fours are 24, and for this 12 twos are 24. See, you'll end up with the same answer. It's just that what numbers are you multiplying first? Okay, that is the only difference. You're multiplying first two numbers here, you're multiplying the last two numbers here, but at the end the result what you get, it is going to be same for both of these patterns. Okay, it's going to be same for both the patterns. You will not see any difference in the answer. The process might be different, the numbers what you multiply might be different, but the answer is same. Okay, clear? Now the last one is what? The last law, the third law is distributive law. Okay, it is distributive. So in distributive, what do we do? That's right. So distributive is something, it is a combination of addition and multiplication, or addition or subtraction. Okay, let's take a number 5 times 4 plus 2. Okay, so by the term distributive, what do you understand by the term distributive? So you need to distribute the numbers. So you see this bracket, yeah, so outside of the bracket, what is the number you see here? That is 5, right? So 5 is getting multiplied with the whole bracket thing. When you have a bracket, that means the whatever number which is outside, if that number is in multiplication with the bracket, that means that number has to be multiplied with the complete bracket thing, all the numbers which are inside the bracket. That will give you the next step as 5 times 4, 5 multiplied by 4, and also 5 multiplied by 2. Okay, so what is the sign we have in between? That is plus. Yeah, now 5 multiplied by 2. This is how you need to write. Now 5 times 4, how do you solve this now? Always remember that you need to do the multiplications first. You cannot add 4 plus 5 and then multiply all the numbers. No, you have to multiply this and this. Multiplications are solved first, and then the additions and subtractions. Okay, so 5 fours are 20 plus 5 twos are 10. So the answer for this is 30. Got it? Now let's take the same question in multiplication form. Okay, so what do you see here? 5 is getting multiplied with the bracket thing, so you need to multiply 5 with both the numbers. So you need to multiply 5 with both the numbers, right? So that gives you 5 times 4. Before you multiply the next number with 5, you need to check what sign you have here. So it is subtraction, right? So just put a negative sign and then multiply the numbers. 5 times 2, that gives you 5 fours are 20 minus 5 twos are 10. The answer what you get is 20 minus 10 is 10. Clear? So this is how you do the distributive law. Distributive is nothing but you are distributing the numbers. Okay, you are distributing 5 with 4 and 2. Since whenever you see a bracket, please know that the number which is outside the bracket, that has to be multiplied with all the numbers which are inside the bracket. This only happens with multiplication. Okay, if the same question is in terms of 5 plus 4 plus 2, this is what law? That's right, this is associative, because since all the numbers are what? All the numbers are in addition form, right? So that is why it is associative. If you see a multiplication and a addition or a subtraction, then that comes under a distributive law. Okay, what are the three types of laws we are studying here? That's right, commutative, associative, and distributive law. So I hope you understood the difference between commutative, associative, and distributive law, right? Good job. So yeah, so what did we finish now? We did laws of arithmetic, right? So if you have understood all those three laws what I explained you right now, then it's gonna be really easy for you to solve the exercise problems. Okay, so all this exercise problems is based on the laws we have studied and also inverse operations. I'll explain you what inverse operations are. Okay, so we are done with laws of arithmetic. Now let's do inverse operations. Okay, so what are inverse operations? It's easy. Let's take a number. Okay, let's say you have 5 times 4. 5 fours are that's right, it is 20. Yeah, inverse operations are nothing but when you multiplied 5 with 4 you got 20. Okay, using the same numbers we can get other variations of divisions and subtractions too. Okay, look, how do we do that? 20 divided by 4 equals 5. Okay, all you need to know is multiplications are inversely proportional to divisions. Okay, so when you are multiplying a number, that using those numbers you can also get answers of your divisions. Okay, see, do you see any other number apart from these three numbers in your division? No, right? So the multiplication what you have done above, we are using the same numbers to find out the answers for our division. So 20 divided by 4 gives you what? The first number, which is 5. And 20 divided by 5 gives you what? The second number, which is 4. Okay, so these are inverse operations. Understood? You do not have to get other number from outside, but your answers are in your multiplication what you have done. Clear? Let's take one more number. Let's say we have 7 5s are 35. Okay, now 35 divided by 5 gives you what? 5 times what gives you 35? 7, right? And now 35 divided by 7 gives you what? That's right, it is 5. Clear? So these are nothing but inverse operations. If you are solving a multiplication, then you can also solve a division for that. Okay, if you are solving a division, you can also solve a multiplication for that. So these are inversely related to each other. So nothing but that is why they are called inverse operations. So I think you are now clear with laws of arithmetic and inverse operations. Yeah. So now I think you are clear with laws of arithmetic and inverse operations. Any doubts in that? No? Good job. Now, look at the distributive law question. What do we have here? 5 times 4 plus 2. That gives you 5 times. First you will solve the bracket. 4 plus 2 is 6. Equals 30. You can do either way. Or you can multiply 5 with 4 and 5 with 2. Or you can just directly solve bracket first and then you can get your answer. Okay, you can do both the ways. So this question is represented in terms of a diagram here. Okay, how did they do that? 5 times 6. Here the question we have is 5 times 6. That means there should be 5 rows or 6 rows or 5 columns or 6 columns. Okay, you can do it either way. So how many rows do we have here? 1 2 3 4 5. We have 5 rows and we have 6 columns, and out of those there are 4, and that 6 what we see, the number 6 what we see here, that is divided in terms of 4 plus 2. Okay, 4 plus 2 gives us 6, right? So that is why from those 6 numbers they have taken, from those 6 columns they have differentiated in terms of 4 columns in one color and 2 columns in other color, just to show the difference that 6 can also be written as 4 plus 2. Okay, representing your question in terms of a diagram. Got it? So if I give you a question, let's say we have a question like 3 times 4 plus 2. So what is the answer for this? 3 times, first solve the bracket, that is 4 plus 2, which is 6, what did we get? 3 times 6. 3 6 are 18, right? So what are the numbers which are getting multiplied here? 3 times 6. Let's first take number of rows. How many rows do we have? Let's consider 3 as rows and 6 as columns. Okay, so how many rows do we need to take? 3 rows with 6 columns. So 1 2 3 4. First 4 columns, let's take one type of shape. The next 2 columns, let's take a box type. Okay, let's take a box type. These 2 columns will be box type. Okay, and these 4 columns will be circles, just to show the difference of this 4 plus 2. Okay, so here we have 4 columns and plus 2 columns, and the rows we have are 3. Okay, 1 2 3 rows with 6 columns. So 3 6 are, these are total of 18 shapes. Clear? Out of which this part will be 3 4s are 12. We have 12 circles, and this part is 3 2s are 6. Got it? So 12 plus 6 gives you what? That's right, 18. Yeah, clear? So if a question is given to you and if they're asking you to represent that in the picture form or diagram form, this is how you do it. Okay, there is no harm if you just only take circles. I took two different shapes just to represent the question type, because in question, before you got 6 in the next step, 6 was earlier written in the form of 4 plus 2. That is why in my diagram I depicted that, showing that 4 is different and 2 is different, and when you add 4 plus 2, that gives you 6. Okay, understood? It's just way of showing the question in a picture. So maybe you'll be asked questions like this, so understand how to solve this question in the diagram form. Yeah, I hope you understood how I did this. Now let's solve the problems based on the laws of arithmetic. Okay, so what are the first 3 questions? What are the questions we have here? What are the workout problems? A, it is 26 plus 97 plus 74. Now looking at the question, first tell me which law is this? This question comes under which law? Right, this is associative law. Okay, because when you see numbers more than 2, that means it is an associative law. Okay, so this is what? Associative law. Yeah, so in associative law we can do any way. First add these 2 numbers, and then in the next step add the third number, or you can add the last 2 numbers and then add the first number. So any way you can do it. So let's do 97 plus 26. That gives you 6 plus 6. It is. So 7 plus 6 is 13. 9 plus 1, 10. 10 plus 2, 12. So it is 123 plus the third number is 74. 123 plus 74. 3 plus 4, 7. 7 plus 2, 9. 1. So the answer for this is 197. Okay. So the next question, B, that is 23 times 25 times 2 times 2. Okay, so here we have what? That's right, we have multiplication. Okay, so you can multiply these first 2 numbers and then multiply these 2 numbers, and then the answer what you get, that could be multiplied at the end. Okay, so 23 times 25 is, it's gonna be a big number. 5 3s are 15, 5 2s are 10, 11. 2 3s are 6, 2 2s are 4. That gives you 575. It is 575 times 2 2s are 4, right? 2 times 2 gives you 4. So now 575 times 4. 575 times 4. 4 5s are 20. 7 4s are 28. 28 plus 2, 30. 4 5s are 20. 20 plus 3 is 23. So the answer what we get here is 2300. Clear? So here the same question can be solved in other way also. It's just the difference in what numbers you're multiplying first. Okay, let's take 23 times 25 times 2 times 2. Okay, first multiply these two. First multiply this set. Okay, that gives you 23 times 25 times 2 2s are 4. Now multiply these two. I'm doing this way because you don't have to do the actual multiplication. Okay, you can just do mental math for this. 25 times 4 is what? 23 times 25 times 4 is what? That's right, it is 100. So when you multiply 25, when you add 25 4 times, that gives you 100, and when you multiply 25 4 times, that also gives you 100, right? So 25 times 4 is 100. Now 23 times 100, what is the answer for this? We did multiplications and divisions with hundreds, tens, hundreds, thousands, right? Now what is the answer for 23 times 100? That's right, 23 times 1 is 23, and just simply take 2 zeros, which is 2300. Clear? That's it. That's how simple it is. You do not have to do the actual multiplication when you can try to do the problem in this way. Okay, now what is the third question we have here? 25 times 100 plus 4. So the question C is 25 times 100 plus 4. Even for this, if you add 100 plus 4, you will get 104, and then you have to multiply 104 times 25. So instead of doing that, you can actually distribute the numbers like how I explained you earlier. So 25 times 100 plus, since it is plus, that is why we are taking plus 25 times 4. Yeah, so 25 times 100. So here 25 times 100 gives you what? That's right, 2500 plus 25 times 4 gives you what? It is right, 100. 2500 plus 100 gives you 2600. That's it. Understood? If you could have done the other way, that will be like 25 times 100 plus 4 is what? 104. Now you have to multiply 104 times 25, since we do not know what is the value for this. Can you solve this? Can you solve this mentally? No, right? So you have to actually solve it in a proper multiplication method, and then you will get your answer. So instead of doing the multiplication, the easiest way is just distribute the number with distribute the number 25 with 104. Okay, so we are done with laws of arithmetic. Now let's look at the example problems of inverse operations. Okay, now let's solve the examples of inverse operations. So what is our first question here? So before starting inverse operations, let me tell you two types of solving inverse operations. Multiplications are inversely proportional to, so multiplications are inversely proportional to divisions, okay, and divisions are inversely proportional to multiplications. Okay, that is one thing. And the second one, subtractions are inversely proportional to that's right, addition, and additions are inversely proportional to subtractions again. Okay, clear? So when you get a multiplication question, you can solve the multiplication in terms of division also. If you get a subtraction question, that can be solved in terms of addition. The same thing goes in the other way too. Here basically subtractions are interrelated to addition, and additions are interrelated to subtraction. The same way multiplications are related to divisions, and divisions are interrelated to multiplications. Okay, so whenever you see a multiplication problem, just remember that it can also be done in a division way, and the same thing goes with the subtractions and additions too. Okay, now let's do the example problems of inverse operations. Okay, so what is the first question we have here? That is 245. Question A, 245 times 19 equals 4655, right? So what is the first question he is asking here? What is 4655 divided by 19? So 4655 divided by 19 gives you what? That's right, it is the first number what we have here, right? So the answer is 245. Now the other question is 4655 divided by 245. What is the answer? That's right, it is 19. So did you understand? Multiplications are inversely proportional to division. So that is why if you change your numbers, see, all your numbers will be changed from the question itself. If 4655 divided by 19, the answer is the first number. If 4655 divided by 245, the answer is the second number. So basically the answer what we got when multiplying these two numbers, which is 4655, when 4655 is divided by 245, the answer will be 19. If 4655 divided by 19, the answer will be 245. It is that simple. Okay, so what is the next question we have here? B, which is complete. 72 plus blank equals 104. So here the second number is missing. Okay, so 72 is added with a number that gives us 104. So how to find that number? It's simple. So the result what we have, which is 104, that has to be subtracted from the first number, so that will get our second number. Okay, so 104 minus 72. So that gives us 4 minus 2 is 2, 10 minus 7 is 32. So the answer, so what is the second number? It is 32. So 72 plus 32 gives us, so 72 plus 32 gives us 104. That's right. Understood? So based on the same question, what if I have to do the subtraction here? So 104 minus 32 gives us what? That's right, the first number. If you take the result and subtract it with the second number, the answer will be the first number. Okay, if you take the result from the question and subtract it from the first number, the result will be the second number. Understood? That is how simple it is. So 104 minus 34, 104 minus 32 gives us 72. The same way 104 minus 72 gives us 32. Clear? So what is the next question we have here? Blank divided by 15. So second one is box divided by 15 equals 8. Okay, so what do we have here? A number divided by 15 gives you 8. So yeah, now tell me, what is the inverse operation for division? That's right, multiplication, right? So the result what we have here, which is 8, that has to be multiplied with 15 so that you get your first number. Okay, so that gives you 15 times 8 is 8 5s are 40, 8 1s are 8, 9 10 11 12. It is 120. Yeah, so 120 divided by 15 gives you 8. That's it. Okay guys, that's it for today. So we studied laws of arithmetic and inverse operations. Okay, I explained you the concept, how to solve using these laws, these three different laws: commutative, associative, distributive, and also explain you how inverse operation works. Okay, if this is division, then the inverse of division is multiplication, the inverse of addition is subtraction. So that is how inverse operation works. So today we covered laws of arithmetic and inverse operation. In the next session I'll do all the problems of the same topic. Okay, so tomorrow in our next session we'll try to cover this complete exercise, which is part of same topic what we have discussed today. So in our next session we are going to finish this exercise. Okay, we are going to finish all these exercise problems in our next session. Then we have order of operations. Okay, this is the last topic of this chapter. Then we are going to start then we have consolidation here. It is like part of all the topics we have covered so far. Okay, after that we are going to start with our new chapter, which is expressions. Okay, yeah, that's it for today then. See you in the next session. Take care. Okay, bye bye.